There are places in your mind you've locked away. Memories that don't feel like yours. Whispers that never came from outside. Welcome to Mind Twist Horror, where your sanity fractures, your soul remembers, and the darkness knows your name. These aren't just stories. They're warnings from the other side. And once you hear them, you'll never truly be alone again. Subscribe before something else does it for you. Story 1. The building had 8 floors. But no one uses the 6th. 10 years ago, there was a fire. A small electrical fault in the server room. Or at least that's the official report. No one died. No one got hurt. But floor 6 was sealed off. The elevator button for it? Removed. The stairwell door? Locked. Even the blueprints were reprinted without it. I started night security 6 weeks ago. Quiet job. Empty halls, 2 camera feeds, and 1 elevator that rarely moved. And it never stopped on floor 6. Because floor 6 doesn't exist anymore. Last night, 2:44 a.m., the elevator dinged. I checked the screen, no request. Then the doors opened, and the display read 6. I never pressed anything. I stood there for a full minute, watching those open doors. Floor 6. A place that shouldn't exist anymore. I told myself it was a glitch. An electrical surge. Bad programming. The screen above the elevator blinked again. 6, steady. Clear. Like it was waiting for me. I tapped my radio. Control, do you read? No response. Just that empty static, the kind that buzzes behind your eyes. I stared into the corridor. The air was wrong, too still. Like it hadn't been disturbed in years. But something had just left the room. The walls were scorched. Not dusty, not aged. I mean black, blistered, burned like the fire had just ended. I should have called it in. Should have walked back to the lobby. But I was the only one on duty. And that's the thing about night shifts. Silence makes you curious. So I stepped out. Just 1 foot across the threshold. The moment I did, the elevator closed behind me. Fast. No warning. No beep. Just, gone. And I was standing in the dark. On a floor that doesn't exist on paper. That's when I noticed the temperature. The floor tiles beneath my boots were warm. Not ambient, hot. Like the fire was still alive somewhere inside the walls. I looked back. No elevator. Just that closed metal door. No buttons. No panel. Just a blank wall where the doors had been. The hallway lit up, about 20 feet ahead. A single overhead light, swaying slightly, like someone had just walked past it. That's when I heard the other footsteps. Slow. Measured. Not mine. I stood still. Held my breath. Listened. There were exactly 6 steps. Then silence. Like someone was waiting for me to keep going. I didn't move for nearly 2 minutes. I just listened, 6 footsteps, not for danger, they weren't walking away. They stopped when I stopped. I tried to rationalize it. Told myself maybe it was pipes. Heat expanding. A rat. My own breathing echoing weird off the walls. But the silence was too deep. Like sound was being pulled inward. Like this place wasn't just abandoned, it was sealed shut. I took another step forward. And something responded. Another footstep. Not behind me. Not ahead. Beside me. That's when I realized I wasn't hearing another person. I was hearing me. My own steps, mirrored. but delayed. Like the hallway was learning how I moved, copying it, just slightly wrong. Another light turned on, revealing a stretch of hallway I hadn't seen yet. Burn marks climbing the walls. Room doors welded shut. One door, slightly open. No markings. No number. Just a cracked door, and a cold breath leaking from the dark inside. I approached. Slowly. The door didn't move, didn't creak. It just waited. And inside, it was me. Sitting in the corner. Same uniform. Same posture. Eyes open, wide. Staring directly back at me. I didn't flinch. He didn't blink. I whispered, "Hello?" He smiled. That version of me didn't stand up. He just pointed toward the hallway, the one I'd come from. And that's when I saw it. The elevator doors. Back where I started. Open again. But I never heard the ding. I turned to run. But the hallway had changed. There were no lights now. No scorch marks. No end. Only reflections, walking toward me. I ran. Not fast. Not confident. The kind of run you do when your body says go but your brain doesn't believe it'll matter. But the hallway just kept going. No turns. No stairwell. No doors. I passed the same overhead light 3 times. Same broken fixture. Same flicker. I checked my watch. 2:44 a.m. The same time the elevator stopped. It stayed frozen. No seconds ticking forward. Just that time. Like this hallway. This whole floor was stuck in that moment. Then I heard something. Not footsteps. Not breathing. It was the elevator bell. But not once. It rang 6 times. In a row. And then, silence. I turned. And behind me, the hallway was gone. I was standing in a small, square room. No walls. Just shadows. And a security monitor in the center. It showed the front desk. My desk. The same one I'd sat at for 6 weeks. But someone was sitting in my chair. Wearing my uniform. I leaned in. He leaned in. I blinked. He didn't. Then the screen shut off. I closed my eyes. I told myself this was a dream, a breakdown, a loop of panic playing in my head. But when I opened them, I wasn't in that room anymore. I was in the lobby. Morning light through the glass. My badge clipped to my chest. No one around. The elevator dinged behind me. I turned, slowly. Same doors. Same hum. Only this time, the screen above didn't show a number. It showed my name. There was never a floor 6. There was just me. And the version that never came back. If you've ever worked alone. If you've ever felt the building watching you back. Maybe you've been there too. And if the elevator ever stops where it shouldn't, don't step out. Because it may not let you leave. Story 2. The guy before me quit without notice. No letter. No call. Just dropped the keys on the front desk and walked out barefoot, leaving wet footprints across the marble floor. The boss didn't talk about it. Said the guy had personal issues. But the embalmer, this old man named Hank, he pulled me aside before my first shift. Told me the job was easy. Sweep. Sanitize. Lock up the viewing rooms by midnight. But then he lowered his voice, and said one thing I didn't expect. If you see a stain after midnight, don't mop it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Let it dry. Let it stay. I thought it was a joke. Some weird funeral home hazing thing. So I laughed. He didn't. There was a note waiting for me in the janitor's closet. Folded once. Old. Taped to the inside of the mirror. Just 3 lines, written in blue ink, shaky handwriting. Never mop after midnight. Not even blood. Especially not blood. That was last week. Tonight, there was a stain in front of the cremation room. Dark. Wet. And I didn't look at the time. I grabbed the mop. And I started cleaning. The water turned red. Not right away. At first, it looked like rust. But the more I swirled the mop over the tile, the more it bloomed. I looked closer. It wasn't just red. It was thick. Dark. And warm. I thought maybe someone spilled something. Maybe a leaky valve. Maybe a body wasn't handled right. So I finished cleaning it. I wrung the mop out in the sink. The water ran clear. I dried the spot. Locked up. And I left. The next night, the stain was back. Same place. Same shape. But now, there were footprints in it. Not going into the stain. Coming out. I checked the security cams. Nothing. Just the hallway lights flickering. Around 12:17 a.m. Same minute I'd cleaned the spot the night before. I asked Hank about it. He didn't look surprised. Just said, "Told you not to mop." I asked him what it was. He said, "Sometimes the bodies come back cleaner than they went in." I didn't understand. Still don't. But then he said something I'll never forget. Blood don't haunt people. Regret does. I told myself I was imagining it. Stress. Late hours. But I left the mop in the closet that night. Didn't touch the stain. Didn't go near the prep room. And yet, when I came back the next shift, the mop was wet. Laid out across the tile. Facing the doors of the viewing hall. And the stain? Still there. Only now, it had spread. The viewing hall felt colder than usual. Not cold like AC, cold like the walls were breathing. Holding in something they didn't want to let out. I walked past room 4. Then room 7. Then paused at room 9. No one had been scheduled in room 9 for 2 months. I remember because the lights had blown out, and no one bothered replacing them. Said the room gave them headaches. But room 9's door was open. Not wide. Just cracked. Enough to tempt you. Like a finger curling in from the dark. Inside, it smelled like bleach. Fresh bleach. The kind of clean you get when you're trying to erase something. No lights. No body. Just a mop leaned up against the gurney. My mop. The one I left in the supply closet. I walked backwards out of that room. I didn't run. Because somehow, I felt like running would wake something up. At the end of the night, I checked the security feed. Not out of curiosity. Out of fear. I just needed to know. 1:07 a.m., the footage glitched. And when it returned, I was on the screen. Walking toward room 9. Same uniform. Same mop. But my face was blurred. It wasn't a camera issue. It was only my face. Like something didn't want to be seen. I scrolled back further. Found footage from the night the last janitor quit. He was in the same hallway. Same time. Same room 9. He turned. Looked into the camera. His eyes were black. Not like empty sockets. Like mirrors. He mouthed something. I played it again. Slower. Over and over. It mops itself. I couldn't sleep after that. I stayed in the office all day, watching the footage again and again. I needed proof. I needed to know it wasn't just in my head. At exactly 12:03 a.m. every night, the feed skips. Not static. Not black. Just skips. Jumps. And when it returns, there's always a mop. Always wet. Always facing room 9. I went to Hank the next day. Told him everything. About the note. The stain. The footage. He didn't interrupt. Just stared at the floor like he was watching something crawl out of it. Then he said, "There used to be a woman who cleaned nights here. Years ago. She lost her daughter. Kid came in for a routine surgery, never made it. The morgue processed her wrong. Body went missing. Vanished. Never found. The mother didn't leave. Said she'd clean until she found her. Then one night, the floor started mopping itself. He said no one ever found the woman. No obituary. No record she worked here. Just an old uniform folded neatly in room 9, with a name tag that read, Mom. I went back that night. Not to mop. Just to see if the stain was still there. It wasn't. But the mop was. Laid out across the floor like a cross. And next to it, a single small footprint. No bigger than a toddler's. I walked back to the closet. Closed the door. And on the inside of the mirror, where the first note had been, there was another. You cleaned it. Now it's yours. I tried quitting. Walked out 3 times. I tried quitting. Walked out 3 times. Every time I come back, my time card is punched. The uniform is washed. The mop is wet. And every morning at 4 a.m. Room 9 is spotless. Even when I don't go near it. But I hear it. The mop, dragging. Slowly. Quietly. Just beyond the door. If you ever take the night shift here, don't clean what's already been cleaned. And if you hear the bucket roll across the tiles, don't open the door. It's not for you. I still clock in every night. I don't remember walking in. But the mop is always waiting. And every time I try to leave, the hallway just gets longer. They say this place is clean now. But I know better. It's just hiding what it couldn't wash away. If you've ever worked a shift that didn't feel quite human, or if you've heard sounds at night no one else believed, tap subscribe. I've got more stories. And some of them aren't finished yet.